It's another day, another dollar. Day 4. Now we're starting to get a little bit used to this. It's starting to feel a little bit like a routine, but we still have some work to do. Let's start right away. I won't yap your ear off, but we'll just talk a little bit. I like to talk, try to set an intention for today's class. And today it's a little bit less about the emotions, even though we are working on the hips and releasing that trauma. We are here to release that trauma, release the negative emotions, and find new purpose and understanding of why we are where we are in life right now. Not blame other people, but look inside and see what it is about us that attracts these things, and to work on that so that way we can release the old and not claim it anymore. So the word for today, get into a child's pose, sending those knees out, feet together. We've been here before. And now let's rock forward and back, keeping your elbows on the floor, palms on the floor. And you're just bringing up your booty and then bringing it back down into your heels, almost like a rocking motion as you press into your knees to be the force against the floor. So the word for today is ritual. I said that, so ritual. And it's helped me a lot when I'm going throughout my day and I'm feeling like stressed, like I got to do this, I got to go to work, I have 30 minutes to do this, and I start to plan my day hour by hour. Do you do that too? Where it's from 1 to 2, I do this. From 2 to 3, I'm getting ready. From 3 to 4, I'm eating, going to work. 4 to 5, I can do this and call this person and call my bank. Every single minute detail of the day, you're scheduling. Ew. And it made me feel like by the end of the day, I was just checking things off a list and I wasn't living my life. I was just there. And now changing the perspective from a routine to a ritual. So when I'm in the shower now, rather than just getting under the armpits, getting in my booty cheeks, being fast about it because I got to go do the next thing, it's more a ritual is more something that you are mindful about, that you're present. And when you start to think of it as something that's pleasurable, it really changes. Just a shift in your mind, it changes the way you live your life. So try to think of maybe 2 or 3 things you can do today. Instead of seeing it as a routine, like brushing your teeth or washing the dishes, think of it as a ritual, something that you get to do out of the day, that you can be present, mindful, and intentional with how you do it. Now, if those hips are opened up enough, go ahead and bring your hands to the floor and start to walk your knees into each other nice and slowly. Whew. And let's start with our body rolls, how we've done a couple of times by now, maybe 1 or 2 times. But what we're gonna do here is, you'll notice a pattern in the way that we work out now, is that it's gonna continue and gradually grow. So we were learning the moves at the beginning of how to do the things, how it should feel in your body. And now we're gonna progress this routine throughout the days. We're on day 4, so we're progressing off of day 1 through 3. And you're gonna notice a lot of things that you've done already. And the more that you do it, the more repetition, not ritual, not routine, but a ritual that we're doing. Being present here, being intentional with how we do it. Forget that you've done this before. Let your body remember it. It's muscle memory that we're working with, and your mind, let it be present and not thinking about how perfect it needs to be. Let your body do it. So knees are on the floor. Let's take those arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Reach up high. Exhale, bring it down. Now I'm gonna start to go with that water sweeping motion. So I'm gonna bring my arms forward, sit my glutes towards my heels, scoop the water up to come up. Airplane wing around, chest proud, rounding the back, arching to then swoop it under, sweep that water up overhead and around, roll it down. We're waking up the hips, we're waking up the body. Hello. Day 4. Finding a good breath. Inhale to reach. Exhale. bring it around. Inhale. Exhale. Squeezing the knees towards each other, feet are flat. And can you squeeze your glutes as you come up to contract them and wake them up as well? Let's do 2 more. Reaching high, around, and down. Reaching high, around, and down. Hands come to the floor. Bring your knees in line with your hips. Hands are in line with your shoulders. And start to go tucking the toes under. We're gonna bring our hips, actually let's keep the feet flat. And let's bring our hips back to a child's pose, narrow child's pose, meaning your knees are towards each other. Now, right leg goes outside of the right hand for a big step in 3, 2, 1, big step. Even further than that right hand. Press the hips forward for 3, 2, 1. Bring the right foot back where it was. Child's pose, narrow child's pose. Inhale. Left foot goes outside of that left hand in 3, 2, 1. Outside. Press the hips forward. Even bring the knee out a little bit to the left. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back. Now at your pace, kind of speed it up a little bit. Step out. Bring it back to child's pose. Alternate. Step out. Bring it back to child's pose. Every single finger in your hand right now is pressing hard into the floor. You have a micro bend in your elbows. And every time you step forward, lead with your hips. Hips press forward for a good stretch. Whatever leg steps forward, so right now it's my left leg, I feel the stretch in my right hip. So the leg that got left behind, that's where you should feel the stretch. You also kind of feel it in that front leg as well because you're bending into the hip. A couple more here. If you hear cracking, that is my knee. I am not 20 anymore. All right. And that was my wrist. Everything's cracking. We're crumbling. Okay, get back into a child's pose. And come on up 1 vertebrae at a time. You're in all 4s. And take a seat. So we're gonna work here with the windshield wiper motion that we did on the first day. You are in this weird angle of like starting here with your feet together. Can you drop your knees both over to the right side of the room and then give space so that the legs are far away from each other. Opening up the hips, sitting down on your tailbone, take your hands back behind you. Proud chest. You can get into your fingertips rather than your whole palm. So I'm kind of holding like this behind me. And then proud chest and go side to side. So you're trying to not pick up your feet. They stay on the floor, but they will go from side to side as you go side to side. Leaning back. Now I'm on my palms now that I got my move going. Now we're going to start to advance this a little bit. So can you take your left hand off the floor, then bring the left hand to the floor, right hand off the floor. Alternating. Now we're able to get a little deeper and rotate a little bit more in the spine. Reaching. Can you go for 3, 2, 1, stay on the right side. Now take your left leg behind you. Lift up the heel and the knee. 5. Slowly 4. Slowly 3. Weight into your hands. Slowly 2. Slowly 1. And fall forward. Elbows to the floor. Come on over. To the other side. Your back leg now is your right leg, hands to the floor. You're gonna pick up the heel and the knee. 5. Try not to go over to the side too much. You're leaning forward into your hands. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come in between your foot and your knee and try to fall down. Feel a stretch. Slowly bring your knees back to the floor. We're in all 4s again. Hands on the floor, knees on the floor. Hands in line with shoulders, knees in line with hips. Toes are down. We're gonna go back to those big runner lunges from our narrow child's pose. So not narrow child's pose, and then step. Tuck your left toes under. Can you lift your knee up? And drop. Lift the knee up. Straight leg, bend the knee to drop. Extend, bend, extend, bend. Feel that heel go towards the floor as you extend. Bend for 2. Last one, hold it up. Press your hips forward for 3, 2, 1, drop the knee. And come on back, straighten the front leg. Feel a nice stretch in the back of your right hamstring, your right leg. Toes are pointing towards the floor. Shift it forward, bring that right knee to the floor to match your left. Child's pose. Narrow, knees are together. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. Let's take the left leg forward outside of your left hand. Hold it. Tuck your right toes under. Can you lift your right knee off the floor? Extend. Bring it back down. Extend. Drop the knee. Check in with your breath. How's it going? We're not holding our breath here. Nice forceful breathing. Not too forceful that it's dramatic, but at least hear it. It should be audible coming out of your mouth. You have 2. 1, hold it. Press the hips forward, holding for 3, 2, 1. Drop the back knee, tuck the toes, and lengthen the front leg. Foot still on the floor, pointing the toes forward. Feel that stretch in the back of the leg for 3, 2, 1. Rock the hips forward. Bring that left foot to meet your right knee, and child's pose. Ritual. I'm present. Everything that I do in this moment right now, not what I just did, not what I'm about to do, is the most important thing that I'm doing right now. And it's what I want to do right now for myself. It might not feel good. It might not be my favorite thing that I do today, but I'm intentional with how I do it, because how I do one thing is how I do everything. And I'm showing that to myself right now. How do I show up? Do I half-ass it, or do I show up fully? Tuck your toes under, press your heels back, downward dog. Heels are going towards the floor, feeling a nice stretch in the back of your legs. And maybe you have a tiny little bend in your knees, but you're really looking for that stretch in the back of your legs. Looking back at your feet, nice straight back, head in line with your biceps and triceps. And now bring your hips forward, forward, forward until you land into a plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, press the hips forward to plank. So all of this is happening in the hips as you bring them up to the sky and then bring them down towards the floor. The hands don't move, the feet don't move. They stay exactly where they are. Only thing moving is those shoulders shifting forward as your hips drop. Shoulders come back to bring your hips up. You're looking for that stretch in the back of your heel, bringing down, feeling it in your calves and in your hamstrings. A couple more here. You're gonna land in that plank in 2. Give me 1 full one again. So downward dog, plank, hold it. Walk your hands all the way to your feet. Nice and slow. Your head is down. The last thing to get up, one vertebrae at a time. Your head's the last thing to get up. Oh, my titties are out. Okay, so toes are a little bit wider than the mat. Heels are on the mat still, but we're gonna drop down into a really deep squat. I'm rounding my lower back. I'm keeping my hips tilted forward. And I'm in this like frog position. Elbows go inside the knees to bring yourself to go rocking side to side. Your chest is nice and proud, and you're using those knees to force you're using the elbows to force the knees back, rocking side to side. You can even lift a heel off, maybe try to keep both heels on the floor to get a little deeper. And now hands together, prayer position into the chest. Come up to squat. From a squat, you're coming back down and up, keeping those heels away and thinking of squeezing the thighs into each other as you drop and lift up. So let's go down. Inhale. Exhale, press your heels. Squeeze the thighs into each other. Inhale to drop. Exhale to lift. Inhale, drop. Exhale, lift. These next 3 that you do, when you come up, you're starting to lift your heels off the floor, get onto your toes. As you get down into the squat, you drop the heels. So every time you lift, heels up. Every time you drop, heels down. Ready? We're going down with the heels down. Inhale. Exhale, lift those heels. High onto the toes. Inhale, drop the heels, squat. Exhale, press, lift the heels up. I just spit everywhere. Inhale, drop. Drop the heels, core tight, shoulders back, and up, hold it. 3, keep the heels up, lower down. Keep the heels up, you're lowering into a squat. Keep the heels up, 3, 2, 1, hold. Knees out, hold. Knees out, hold. Pulse it out, 5, 4, 3, knees are pulsing, 2, 1, drop the heels, fold over. Ay, mama. That was, oh. I like that one. Walk your feet a little closer together. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Walk your hands forward. You're in a plank. Hips up, downward dog. Heels to the floor. Exhale, forward. Shift the shoulders forward, hips down, downward dog. Keep rocking back and forth from your downward dog to your plank. Your breath matches your movement. So your breath is your guiding force. Whatever your breath is doing, that's what the movement will follow. So, exhale to go back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. I switched to inhale, forward. Hold the plank. Hold it, hold it. 3, 2, knees out. Drop your heels back. Drop your hips back. Knees are still out, they're off the floor, hold. 3, 2, shift forward, plank. Knees go wide, your butt goes back into your heels. Forward plank. Knees out, heels towards each other, drop your butt into your heels. Forward plank. Hold for 3, 2, 1, drop to your knees, wide knees, feet together, child's pose. Drop your head to the floor, massage it out a little bit. And let's come on over to our side. So laying down on our right hip, bring your elbow to the floor, right elbow onto the floor, and make a fist with your right hand. You have this like little bend in your knee, and your feet are right in line with your knee. Starting here, kind of scoot yourself back up and down until you feel really your hip bone. Not your booty, not your thigh, but more of your hip. So kind of keep working your way until you start to feel more of your hip. Now that we're here, start to bend the knees a little closer to you. Heels are together, toes are together. Let's lay down on our side and then bring your right elbow to the floor. You have a straight line from your wrist to your elbow, keeping a little fist with your right hand. And then bring yourself to be more on your hips rather than your booty, like your side booty. So find your hips. There are my hips. I lift up my legs. I can find them by pressing into them. And then bend your knees a little bit towards your chest. Your feet are maybe 2 inches back away from your knees. So not fully straight in line with your knees, but maybe 2 inches back. Now take your left hand to the floor. Keep your ankles together, heels together. Separate your knees. Open. Come back down. Now listen, the more that you open, the more that you actually get results out of this move. We can sit here and open maybe 2 inches all day, and that's really not doing much. So keep proud shoulders back, open up the chest, and open, keeping the heels super glued into each other. They do not move. They are soulmates. They can't live without each other. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing, but I had a anatomy teacher in the 10th grade, and she was like, I don't get that Chris Brown song, Can't Breathe Without You, No Air. Like, why is he dying? She's like, that's not love, guys. You can't be with someone that says they can't live without you. And at the time, I was like, I want someone that can't live without me. Like, what do you mean? Die without me. Die. So morbid. But it's true. You need someone that is completely themselves, fully understanding who they are without you. And it's not a half and a half equals a whole. It's a whole and a whole equals a unit, a partnership, a friendship. And when I was younger, I didn't understand that. I don't know where that story came from, but there's your story. Keep pressing your hips out. You should be feeling some warmth in this left hip here, and opening up as you can, bringing those shoulders back for 3, 2, 1. Now straighten the legs out. You're still onto this right elbow. Now taking your hand to support your head. Toes are pointing towards your face, and you're really, really balancing on that hip. So if you could take your legs off and see what I'm doing, make sure you're finding that hip and pressing hard. Now activate your right leg by pressing the entire right leg into the floor and active. You're squeezing every muscle. So this is relaxed. Maybe you can notice my knees kind of bent. Straighten the knee, press into your right hip. Now lift the left leg actively up towards the ceiling. Slowly bring it back down. And then up. Every muscle, your glutes are squeezing. Your right hip is pressing into the floor. And bring it back in. You should not be feeling any wiggling in that right leg or shaking side to side, because you're pressing in your hip and you're pressing that right leg so hard into the floor. You're here for 3, lifting from the hip. Feel it lift. And can you hover your left leg over your right and pulse? For 5, 4, 3, 2, lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. Bring it back down. Give yourself one more. Promise yourself one more here. Lift, lift, lift. And lower. Bring that knee into your chest. Lay on your back. Nice. Okay, you can just roll over to the other side. I'm gonna just shift it over so you can still see me and see what I'm doing. So now go onto your left elbow and find your hip. So pick your legs up. Where's your hip? Find it, kind of shake it out to find it. Find that hip. Roll your shoulder blades back. Nice proud chest. Knees are a little bit towards your chest. Heels are together. Open up. Come back down. So this, you won't feel that much, but you are going to start activating that hip a little bit more, so that way when we do the leg raises that we just did on the right, on the left side, you're gonna feel it a little more because it's warmed up. It's kind of like when your trainer tells you, go on a run, go on the treadmill for 5 minutes before I see you, because you need to warm up everything before you do it. Now, I had a story for your other side. I don't have a story for you on this side, but let's see. Did I hear a good joke recently? No, I haven't. Okay. Hey, it's Hannah from the future, and I couldn't think of one joke or one story to tell you, so I'm just letting you know I had nothing. For 4, 3, 2, 1, lengthen the legs away from you. Take your hand to support your head. Toes are pointing towards your face. Can you find your hip? Balance out, find your hip. Found it. Left leg is active on the floor, and lift. Someone is on that side of the room pulling my legs away from me, and that's what's keeping my legs so tense and pulled out as I lift up and down, keeping the motion, the work happening in my right hip. If you start to feel like you're putting too much weight into your elbow, you can lift up a little bit and making sure that you're keeping it in that hip. Slow, down, slow, down, slow, down, hover. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it up. Slowly, slowly, slowly. One more, one more, one more. Bring your knee into your chest. Whew. Yay. Okay, bring your knees, both knees into your chest, and bring both knees over to the left side of the room. Hands are on the floor. Now can you take your top knee and bring it right under it so that way both knees are trying to hit the floor, almost like when we were doing those windshield wipers at the beginning of today's session. Try to keep both of them down. Now take your left heel and bring it on top of your right knee and press. As you press, you're pressing your hips towards the ceiling and you feel this stretch happening. Keep hooking that left heel onto your right knee, holding for 3, 2, 1. Unhook the knee from the foot. Bring it over to the right side now. So now knees are dropping over to the right side. Take your right heel and bring it on top of your left knee. Press your knee down. Feel that twist happening into your left hip. Hands can go to the floor. Hands can stay on your belly. Holding for 3, 2. I just found myself like talking really fast. 1, and I wasn't present. And bring it back to center. Okay, both knees into the chest, rock yourself side to side. And happy baby, so we take our hands inside of the knees, take them to the outside of the foot. Can you grab them, pull your knees down towards you, separate your feet away from each other, and rock side to side. This feels good on my back. And then slowly bring your feet towards the floor. Keep your feet together, touching as your knees go out. You're in diamond position and adding some weight to your legs by putting your hands on top of your thighs. If you have any arch in your lower back, try to take it out by kind of scooting your tailbone under and letting those knees widen out. Rituals. This is a ritual. When you wake up in the morning, make your morning routine a ritual. Make you driving to work a ritual. Rather than just trying to get there to see who? Bob next to you? Your drive there, wherever you're going to your destination, is a ritual. Use it as your time to talk to yourself. Tell yourself about your day, or that something that's been running in your mind that you want to start to understand a little bit more. Take the time to be with you. You are the most important person in your life. And it should feel like you are the most important person in your life. And get to know yourself. What do you really like? Talk to yourself. It doesn't make you crazy. Those that talk to themselves venture to understand themselves, venture to know themselves, to love themselves. It's a ritual. Today is a ritual. Right now, it's a ritual. And slowly bring those knees to each other as slow as possible, as slow as needed. And bring those legs out to straighten. Feet fall out to the side of the mat, arms are out wide, and this is how we finish class. Letting all of the good stretching and releasing that happened on the hips. Can you take your fingertips and just glide them up and down onto your hips? And telling your hips, thank you for supporting me all these years and doing all that you do, because you do a lot. You protect my womb, you protect my energy source, you protect my creativity. And I thank you for protecting me. But now I'm allowing you to open up a little bit more. Now I'm allowing you to explore a little more of who you are. And it's something I want to practice every day with you. Mrs. Hips. Don't forget to write into your journals today what you felt today, moving through this series, what you want to leave on the mat, and what do you want to take with you. I will see you right here again tomorrow for day 5 of pulling up with your purr. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.